So once you've done the single pole side pass, you can start adding in a V or a Z. Man, this horse is like amazing me. Okay, so when you get to the crook, you stop your horse. And no. You make them stop, and then you hold their front end. You hold your rope up by their halter fairly tight, close, and you're using your hind end. Your hind end. You're using your arm to kind of push the hind end or your rope. By now, your horse should be understanding the whole lateral movement. Somehow, they're understanding to move away from your arm or pressure. Over. Okay. So you can do the whole thing. You'll stop. And whoa. They should learn to sit here and kind of wait for you instead of doing it on their own, which might be Slick's problem. He likes to do it all by himself. He's got it all figured out. But go slow, and then you can do it with their hind end. Which is usually a little harder. Whoa. Little steps and stop. So now, whoa, no. Whoa, whoa. And now you're going to move the front end. No, no, whoa, whoa. He knows I have treats still. No. Whoa. This is where it's important to make them sit and wait for you. So you're going to move the front end. Back end stays the same. In place. You can move your hand into their shoulder. Quit.
The object is to just
point.
keep replacing their feet, their body, every time they get out of place or step over the poles. You just put them back where they need to be, and then let them sit for a second so they know that's what you're asking for. And then just keep repeating. Pretty soon they figure it out. That's where you need them to be.
To help block him if he's going too fast, doing the front end. Now I want to make sure, you kind of anticipate where their movements are going to be. It's a good boy. So I'm just directing his head this way a little bit, having him follow with his shoulder, his neck, his front end. The big logs, the 4x4s, kind of help make him realize it's much easier to not step on them. That's why I like to start with something big versus a PVC pole. It just kind of helps them figure it out. So when they step out, you instantly reach over towards the hind end to help fix that. If he wanted to walk forward, I had to correct him. So you're always anticipating. Get your hand right up here. And whoa. So I want to kind of make sure his back end isn't going to move. So stretching your hands out, kind of leaning out. You're exaggerating for now. This isn't really what you're going to do when your horse is finished and you're in a show ring. Not that he's quite ready for this, although he keeps surprising me. And then, whoa. When you get to the V's, the crooks, the narrow part, have them stop. They need to learn to stop and wait for you. That's the hardest part. And then you're going to kind of do a pivot. I'm holding him here. I'm holding this front end from not moving while I'm reaching over and having this hind end move. And then I have them stop. Never want them to just continue on by themselves. And they should take steps and stop. That way you're in control. Much easier to go faster than it is to slow them down. They get too fast is where they make mistakes. Whoa, like that. No, 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 no. Once he's back where he needs to be, I let him rest. Tell him that that's good. I take the pressure off. When he's stepping out, I just kind of put pressure on him. I tell him no. I keep kind of pushing till he steps back in, and then I let him know that's what I want you to do. So now we're going to slowly move the front end over. I'm pushing the back end. Here I tell him no, no, put the pressure on, and then you let him stop. Tell him good, that's what we wanted. Over. And now I'm putting, this goes off of just my hand pretty well. This hand is controlling, my halter is controlling the forward and the backward motion. It's right here because it's got to be right there anticipating every step he takes. Over. No. And whoa. So I want him just to learn to stop in that crook. Sometimes when you start getting more difficult, you have these holes closer. When you're using the PVC, they start getting, your gap is more narrow. They need to learn to stop and navigate. That's part of what we'll show you on the disc. You want to be able to control where they pick their feet up and set them down so that you can correct when it looks like they're going to step out. I'm pushing his front end over. I'm going to help him by backing a step because I know he's going to need that space as we continue. Good. He's trying. When they cross their legs like that, they're trying to not step out. You give them a lot of credit for that. And then whoa. Very good. There you go. Something to work on.